podcasting streaming platform.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Fire Talk Radio episode 74. Tonight, Jason is out. I'm trading one bald-headed person for another, and Drew has lonely disappeared for a moment. But tonight, we are going to talk about the cocaine farmers in South America upset that they're being outdone by fentanyl. We're going to talk about the South Korean airline where the dude decided to open up the door. Just why not? And we're going to talk about how Target made a choice and the people have outspoken themselves and Target is now backpedaling and Whoopi Goldberg and her convoluted ways. And then the last thing hopefully we'll get to is about the 30 tons of ammonium nitrate and how we're not talking about this, but we're going to talk about a supposed white supremacist who slow rolled a U-Haul into the White House. And we're giving senators 50 of 100 senators satellite phones. So I'm trading in one bald person for another. How are you doing today, Drew?
What's up, brother? Yeah, man. I gotta represent the balds while the men are away. So what's up with what's he up to today?
He's actually out of town. He went up to his family's cabin because he hasn't been able to go up. So it's open season for Memorial Day. He's like, it's Memorial Day. I should go. And I'm like, I don't care, whatever. So, but that's life. So, it may be a little bit shorter for those that are listening live, than normal, because I know Drew's on a time crunch and I don't like doing this by myself. So,
and I appreciate you having me here, Ryan. Thank you. Again, it really is a blessing.
No, thank you. So we'll go with the short ones real quick. We always talk about how, I know when we have always talked about the border, the big thing is how we're getting the immigrants smuggling in fentanyl into the United States. Pure fentanyl as it is the dangerous drug. It's not even, I think it's like 0.3 milligrams can kill a person. Yes, fentanyl is used in hospitals for like surgery and all, but that's all chemically done correctly, I guess, as a pain reliever for major surgeries, and then it's right, but in its pure form, it's not the fantastic thing, and it's killing a lot of us.
To the touch too, from people if you don't wear proper PPE.
Yeah, and the thing is, you don't even have to like inhale it. You just have to. It just has to. It's organically transmitted, so you just have to literally touch it, and your skin will absorb it, and then that's it. But this gentleman, I thought this was hilarious when I read this story today, actually. Because this Colombian coca grower. It's the actual plants of the how they make cocaine.
Right.
And how weird I'm talking about this. He's upset that he doesn't feel like he's going to be able to pass his fortune. We talk about in the United States generational wealth. Like you amass such a fortune, and it can be passed to generation to generation to generation. You will never spend all the money. And this is what this guy's getting at. Like he'll never spend, his money will not be passed down because the price of cocaine has seriously dropped. I mean, do you think this is a good problem or a bad problem?
Well, I am all for abolishing illegal drugs. I think that's ultimately is a good thing. I think, and understanding not all coca plants lead to cocaine. I believe there are other uses for it, and I think there are medicinal uses for it as well. So I think I'm not familiar with the laws and what, percentage wise must be used for certain things. If he's even, if this gentleman is even above the bar when it comes to the law. I mean, is this?
This is all in South America. So
sure.
I guess this is their cash crop in a sense.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the cartels are probably most likely paying it, and then
sure.
But most likely, from the way statistics have been looking, that cartels have been moving towards fentanyl more than cocaine, and it's like,
yeah,
still bad, but I just think it's ironic.
Yeah, I don't think that we should. I don't think we should be. I don't think we should care, quite frankly. Whether a drug. I mean, that I guess you could replace the addiction with something else, and would you say so and so is a pimp in another country, and because of the lack of women, he's not able to pimp, and pimping is a lot harder, than it. Yeah, it's not. It's even harder. So I'm sorry that this is your life's work, and your children will not be able to be taken care of. With the drugs that you produce and then pour into our country and to your own country. I would say, maybe perhaps find another profession. I do know Burger King is hiring in a lot of places in the United States. So, you could start at minimum wage, work your way up. Maybe one day you'll be the boss and not peddling cocaine into our country.
Right. All right. So that was my little tidbit on that. That was just, I saw that and it was kind of ironic.
Well, and it is dangerous. We really need to be aware of the fentanyl crisis. I've known folks who've had brothers and sisters. I've not known anybody directly. Of course, I go to church. Not too many of the people in our church are doing fentanyl, at least not outwardly. So this is a crisis for people that have addictions and that need help. And I think that we should really support getting people off of drugs and into the right mindset, and that way they can be a member of society that is beneficial to the rest.
No, I completely understand. I mean, I know unfortunately, I know of a few people I grew up with who unfortunately made a left turn at Albuquerque and ended up with a cut dose with fentanyl in it, unfortunately, and they are no longer here. It is hard to talk about, but fentanyl has been in the news, especially with a lot of the illegal immigration coming in and a lot of the smuggling.
Yes.
So if don't do it. I mean, I can't tell you.
Just don't do it. Don't do drugs that might be laced with other things. And I believe, and I might be totally ignorant on this, but I believe even people have had issues with marijuana laced with fentanyl. I don't know how that works, if it's like a powder or something, but that's
what my wife and I were talking about. Because I have my medical card, and she goes, "Are you worried?" I said, "No, because the medical dispensaries they're under so much scrutiny through the state." Right. So I tell her, it's like I don't get the street weed, I get the government weed.
Right. Government cheese and street cheese, man. You got to get that government cheese.
It's like I never thought in 20 plus years I would go from getting weed from my buddy to getting weed from a dispenser. I never thought this day would ever fucking this time frame would ever happen.
It's a very weird timeline, dude.
I almost kind of wish we could like roll back to the 90s, and I think the 80s, 90s were like the best time frame to ever live in.
Yeah, I agree.
As soon as we hit to the 2000s, we all made a left to Albuquerque, and it just.
And here we are. and now we're all fighting against all this wokeism. I'm sure we're going to be talking about the Target thing, but
Yep,
this is all a result.
We'll just smooth right into that. So
Yeah,
Target, we all know about it. Target decided to put in their own Pride section of stuff.
Right.
No one cares about Pride stuff until it is focused on children.
absolutely.
That's the problem. And no, I was like, my foster dad, after his wife passed away, he decided to realize he finally told everybody he came out of the closet, but while he was still married, but he didn't divorce. He stayed until he could figure it out. And I'm very proud of him, and I don't have anything against him whatsoever. It's when I see this stuff being peddled to children.
Mhm.
I mean, what happened in Florida is a good example as well. When they said, "Hey, you can't do this in public with children there," and then they
Right,
decided
the
to
drag
cancel
shows.
all
Right.
their pride parades because
Mhm.
they couldn't have children. It is something that you don't want to. You don't want to be like, "Oh, we're gonna strip," and it's pride is one thing. Sexualizing your transition to children to get their approval is completely different, in my
Well, and
opinion.
here's the thing: think about it this way, man. Conservatives, people with morals and values, how do they reproduce? By having children, right? They reproduce by raising their children
Yep.
up the way that they should go. They focus on sharing and instilling those morals and those character traits into their own kids, of course, and not every conservative is perfect. Not every liberal is perfect. And not every liberal is a crazy person either. However, many of these folks that have lost their minds in this gender fluid ideology that exists in this culture, they can't reproduce, man. They don't reproduce. A homosexual couple does not reproduce. The best that they can hope for is to try to adopt from a family or to adopt from the state. But it's not a winning battle for them, man. There is no the best way that they could reproduce is in the classroom, which is I think why we're seeing such an assault from so many people in this movement against kids, is because if the only way to get their ideology out is to teach your kids their ideology. And if you aren't teaching your kids a proper ethic and moral and a good ideology that honors something outside of themselves, then they're going to buy into it as well. And so these liberals and these insane people are reproducing in the classrooms, and that's why we're having these conversations and these arguments with people today.
I want to give up a really good representation. So Adam Cow, if my microphone would stop cutting out, that'd be great. Did literally a walkthrough on Target over by where he lives at, and I love his shirt. So
I like it. Massa.
Make America straight again.
Yeah.
That's right. Read the shirt. Today we're here at Target. Let's go in and see what they got going on for Pride Month. Right, so first of all, guys, if you want to buy a really awesome shirt, you can buy this shirt right here. Anyways, let's get the video started. So right now I'm standing. This is great. They're definitely not pushing this to your kids at all. My personal favorite. It's not a phase, Dad.
Wow.
We also got coloring books. Hold on, let's.
Jesus.
You know, it's normal, right? All the people out there on the internet that's saying they're not trying to push this on our kids, this isn't Target. Okay, so maybe you're wrong. That's right. Read the shirt. Today we're here.
I mean, he's
it's
not wrong.
It's wicked, bro. No, he's not wrong, and
no,
this
I
is
mean-
this is huge.
And because right now as of like literally, this announcement went out. Target lost $9 billion, and
Good. I hope they lose more.
I mean, I understand when Bud Light did it with whatever its name is, what is it?
Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney. Yep.
That guy needs to be just thrown off a cliff or taken to. You know what? I've been watching Yellowstone again. Take it to the train station. That's what I'm going to say from here on out. Should have been taken to the train station because he is representing. He's representing himself as a woman, but patronizing women
Yep.
at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And that's the rough part. And then I saw people were upset about Ford. It's like Ford just put the flag on their damn truck. They're not pushing that to kids. Don't give a shit about Ford. Schools is starting to do pride stuff in their children's sections, but they didn't put it on their website yet. I saw a news article that Kohl's is bringing out a pride collection, and I'm like, I really hope they don't. I really hope they slow roll that back before they see what happens with Target. I like going to Kohl's. They have great comic book shirts.
Sure. So does Five Below, by the way. You can go to Five Below. I don't think that there's much pride stuff there. I haven't seen it, but I mean, I think the reality is, I think what we've seen with Bud Light, and for those that are not read up on the situation, what it appears to have happened was Bud Light sent some custom cans to a trans man named Dylan Mulvaney, who got popular through TikTok on his X amount of days being a woman. Although he's not cutting his genitalia off. He still has male genitalia. He did get I don't know if you noticed, but he did get a little bit of surgery done on his face, on his nose. However, it was promoted
into a 50s woman though. Like if you really look at it, he's a
trad wife.
I really wasn't trying to go there, but thank you. But but I've actually known people who were drags, and they're actually pretty decent people. And most of them don't like what's going on right now in this whole, they're the older ones, I guess. They're like, we're celebrating women, but we know we're not women. We're just, hell, even what's her name? Caitlyn Jenner came out and said this is bullshit. And
Bruce Jenner also has a mental illness. So I mean, it's like asking the devil what he thinks about sin. Oh no, it's fine, it's great.
But he understands. Yes, he cannot play women's sports. He knows that he can never be truly. He may look like a woman, he may feel like a woman, but he knows deep down.
You want to find out? You want to feel him like a woman, Ryan?
No, I'm good. No,
Didn't he keep he kept his junk too, though? I believe, right? He's not. He isn't fully sexually transitioning. Yeah, I believe he still has his.
Bruce Jenner as a competitor, absolutely one of the best Olympians.
Sure.
Dave Chappelle said it best. Bitch beat all the women his first year as a woman, as Woman of the Year.
That's right.
But we've with gun issues. It's not a gun issue. It is a mental issue.
Yes.
And I've been. Everyone talks about where's Gen X. None of Gen X wants it. Nobody wants Gen X's smoke in this because we'll just break feelings. Everyone has a mental issue because they're being they're being changed. Either it is through the media, it's through just what they're learning in school.
Yeah.
Because most of these people are college kids. If you haven't noticed, they're all college kids. They're going to these uppity colleges and they're being conformed. And then you have celebrities that think they know better, and they're like, and people are like, oh, they're celebrities. They must know what they're doing. Celebrities don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're
Right.
they're just human, just like everybody else. They're just being paid to have their faces on TV. Like this. I actually used to like her back in the day, and now all of a sudden, I wish she can go kick rocks somewhere.
Oh, Whoopi, yeah, she's. She was in a couple of Sister Act. Was a great movie, man. I have a
Sister
lot of
Act,
memories of Sister Act,
Ghost.
Sister Act 2. Sure.
Lot of her old series.
Target has offered products celebrating Pride Month for over 10 years. And on Friday, some of their southern stores were instructed to put the products in the back of the store. Now, Target said this is about safety because they are getting threats. Products. It's just so crazy. But I will say, what starts at the back of the store always comes to the front. Yeah. I am sick of people moving my desires because their desires are not being met in some way. I am sick of people telling me I can't go to a drag show. I'm sick of people telling me that my friends are different because you don't understand them. I'm sick of it. This is America. You're supposed to be able to be whoever you are. Stop with all this stuff. You want to talk about snowflakes? Who are the snowflakes, really?
The people scared of a flag.
The people scared of a flag? People who are scared of a drag brunch. It's a brunch. It's a brunch. I'm getting really tired of this, and I'm trying not to say any bad words.
Nobody cares what a failed actress who was in a few movies thinks about. She's so out of touch with reality.
They all are.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody in their right mind watches The View and thinks to themselves, I'm going to get something of great, immense value out of this show or out of these opinions. The View has been a talking piece for liberalism as far back as I can remember. Even going back to an interview that the late, great Norm Macdonald did on The View, where he made a joke, which was not really a joke, about Bill Clinton and his alleged killing of someone, having a guy killed, which all the truth will always come out in the end. However, even back then they were standing for liberal progressivism in this country, and Whoopi doesn't, as far as I know, I don't believe she has any children. So of course, Whoopi, yes, you can go to a drag show. You can do whatever you like as an adult, an out of date, out of touch adult. But if it shows you how out of touch she is. It's not brunches. This is not brunches. This is not drag brunches that people are having an issue with. These are public libraries across the United States that are hosting an event for children in which men dressed as women, overly sexualized, twerk, dance, perform simulated sex acts, and do give lap dances to children. That is insanity. In what world can we look at that? Take a step back, guys. Look at what we have come to accept in this world. Now, if you hate your children, by all means, you have every right to hate your own children. I don't know why you want them. I don't know why you continue with them. But if you hate your children, then you can take them to be sexually confused and to be harassed, touched, and groped by gross, perverted men. If you hate your children, you do that. But don't come at us thinking that we have to accept anything that you think is normal. Don't come to us and expect us to say, oh, you know what, you're right, you should do that, because people are sick and tired of being told what to do. COVID was a major wake-up call for a lot of people, and you can like it or not, but the Bud Light boycott has worked. Bud Light is essentially they're begging people to take their beer. Target is in a panic mode.
Did you see Anheuser-Busch is coming back with the old commercials?
Oh, it's too late though. They've far gone. It's far too. I have seen it. You're right. They have tried.
I mean, like
desperately.
They literally they're like, one was with the horse recently, and then just recently, my wife and I were watching TV, and an actual regular Budweiser, not Bud Light, but regular Budweiser commercial with like partying like in the middle of a field, and I'm like, that's actually how it used to be. That's how it was always a gathering, like hardworking people drinking, but I've always been one for like Miller. I've always been Miller or Coors, but I don't drink anymore. So
right, me neither.
Doesn't matter to me. Like my father-in-law, fucking about Bush, fucking won't even pick it up now. And I'm like, wow, guy who drank Bush his entire life and now goes, fuck him, and drinking Coors Light now. And I'm like, all right. I mean,
we have finally seen, man. I think this is the beginning of a really great thing, because, and I try to be optimistic on this. We are finally seeing that people have had enough, and we're seeing that the boycott works. And so it works, man. It works. And here's the best part about a boycott: you don't have to buy anything. No one's forcing you to buy anything. Here's also a great news in a capitalist society. You can shop anywhere. You don't have to go to Target. Ladies, you don't have to go to Target. You can go to Walmart. You can go to Kohl's. Obviously, if they're still doing that, that's problematic. But there are options. And if how would you even? I don't know, in the sense of marketing, why it would even be reasonable to think that 1 or less than 1% of society, which is these transgender folks, less than 1% of society, I think less than 3% of society is homosexual. Why are we catering? They don't spend money like 96% of the rest of society. So I understand like the desire to be inclusive, but it's far past the point of being inclusive. At this point, it's being forced, and so it's not only you will like it, but if you don't like it, you're a bigot. That's insane.
Yeah, no, that's always one thing that, and the thing is, a lot of that came out right in the pandemic, right near the pandemic, where if you didn't conform, you were racist, you were denier, you were this, and it's like no one was allowed to have their own view. No one was allowed to have their own opinion. No one was allowed to conform their own opinion. It was, this is it on every scope.
And you will like it. Yes.
Yeah. So speaking of this, I think this is there's a guy that he's a musicianist for media for Hollywood. His name is Stephen Hilton. He was married to a woman named Laura Clearly. You probably saw them during like the pandemic where they were doing like funny little videos. And when TikTok came out, and they were really funny. He red pilled himself recently.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I don't understand. Like, this is all dumb, and everybody that I thought were my friends is liking this stuff, and it's okay. And I'm like, no. And then it's great that when you see that happen to somebody, and you make him realize he is not alone, and he's like
Right.
not fighting it. He's just like, I'm looking at it with a new set of new eyes, and that is the one of the greatest things. And,
So it's Stephen Hilton, you said is his name?
yeah, I'll bring up a video of his.
Sure. Looks like he's European, huh? He's from the UK?
Yes.
Gotcha. I have not heard of these folks. Did you hear about them on through TikTok or?
Well, Stephen Hilton, yeah, I actually found him on Facebook Shorts like years ago. But then all of a sudden, like,
Oh, I
when
know
he
this
got it-
guy.
yeah,
Yeah. His wife, she used to make
Laura.
comedy videos and like being real goofy, and then she ended up having a baby, right? Within the last couple
Two.
years, they had
With
2
him.
kids. Yeah. So they're getting divorced.
No, I think they are divorced by now.
They
I
are
think-
divorced. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I got you.
Um,
Well, I definitely recognize him. I always thought that they were a little bit liberal. I wonder if they divorced because of her views. Could it have been the red pilling of him that caused that?
His red pilling happened after his divorce.
I see.
The divorce. I never really like paid attention to what caused their divorce because I was like, that's nothing I care about.
When you're in the limelight, it's probably the limelight. You know, it's
Most
probably
likely.
the attention that she got or that he got. But yeah, go ahead. Please continue.
But I was like, the one day I was watching, I was mind-numbingly flipping through TikTok, and that's when I saw it. Goes, is it just me or is this wrong? And I'm like, yes.
Interesting.
And Shipwreck and her producer, they commented on him. We all just like, we're all like supporting him, and it's like, yeah, no, come over here. We're a load of laughs. I would love to get in contact with him eventually. But his IMDb is actually very extensive.
Interesting.
But he's a hell of a guy.
Yeah, I see, I pulled it up on Twitter. He posted, he said, this is his post. He says, I think I just got red pilled. And it looks like it's a video. The title of the video is Hollywood Liberal Red Pilled. That's very interesting. I'm going to have to watch that after this. Thank you for bringing that up. That's always it's always good to see people join the light side.
He's a definitely interesting character. And he makes some of the funniest little shorts. Let's see if I can find.
Well, good for him. I'm very happy to hear that. You know, and there has been in the stream of Hollywood being red pilled. You know, I think that we are seeing more and more and more folks that have gotten tired of all of the nonsense that actually are standing up. And we've seen a lot of folks kind of be silent through a lot of this wokeness and stuff. And I think that what you're seeing is, if you follow any comedians like even Joe Rogan, you follow guys like Andrew Schultz. All of these guys have been taking more of a what we would call a red pilled approach. They're seeing the stuff happening, and like good comedians should, they're making fun of it. They're calling it to the front with humor. They're allowing it to be something that we laugh about. And I think as they continue, I think we're going to progressively see more and more people feel emboldened to stand up against some of this stuff, to the point where I genuinely don't think that this wokeness is going to last. I think this will be a dark phase like COVID was for the United States. And, I'm hopeful that in 10 years we can look back and be like, oh man, I'm really glad that we got rid of that stuff.
My problem is just think about it in like 2050. This time is going to be in the history books.
Oh yeah.
And they're going to look back on this and they're like, oh, what happened? And we're going to be those old fogies sitting there like, I don't even want to talk about it.
Right.
It hurts my brain. People were dumb. Hopefully, everything resets itself. I really
I hope so.
And the problem is how politically charged the world has become.
Right.
I remember when I did this for fun, and I was doing this. But the problem is this has become a voice in the sense of, hey, what you're seeing out there and how they're telling it is how it really is.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason I like doing this. Is like I love having these conversations, like bringing these topics up, because we're about to slip into one that's really going to bother me, and it's probably going to take us all the way to the near the end. And that is the 30,000 tons of ammonium nitrate. That is more ammonium nitrate than it was during the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, let's get a background, man, because I'm not totally. I've heard a little bit of it, but I want to hear more details. So walk me through kind of a timeline of events.
Right.
And go ahead, please.
So, all right. So let me load this up here. I actually have a video here. I'll play it here in a moment too, as well. I'm sorry, not 30,000. It's 60,000 tons.
Only 60,000 tons.
60,000 tons. Yeah, 60,000 pounds.
Such a small amount.
So, about 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate went missing, disappearing from between. It looks like it came from Wyoming to California. So that is a large stretch. By no mean. They had stopped at a rest area for the train for them, and then they realized it was missing.
So it was loaded on. It was at one point it was loaded on, so they had the accountability that it was there, and then the train is moving along, and then at some point, those that were responsible realized that it was gone.
When they got to their destination.
So do trains make stops? I wish I knew more about trains.
I think the cargo does make stops.
Okay.
So the way the train conductors did their investigation on this is that they noticed that there was some visible holes on the bottom of these containers.
Oh my
that had
gosh.
ammonium nitrate. So it's the way they are explaining it, which makes no sense whatsoever, is that it leaked onto the railroad tracks.
Okay, well that's an easy way to find out if that's true. You can follow the rail route. Let me guess that they did that and they didn't find any.
Here's the problem. This version of ammonium nitrate that was in there is also reactive to water.
Fantastic. That just makes the whole situation better. That's like pouring ketchup into a blender that you're making a malt smoothie in.
Right. So just I want you to close your eyes and imagine this.
Okay. All right.
You have all these rail cars. You have leaking ammonium nitrate on a rail.
Yes.
Going from one destination to another.
Yes.
And it rains.
Then you have a true trail of tears, my friend.
My
gosh.
question is, and here is my thought, is what is in between Wyoming and California?
What is between Wyoming? Let's look. Let me go to my maps here. Let me find. Let's take a little look here. We can see maps. I got my little tablet in front of me here. Actually, I may not have.
So the route was 1,000 miles of Western United States, as they're saying it covered 1,000 miles.
Wyoming to California. I want to picture this. I need to see this and put it into perspective here. So let me see here. So we got Wyoming to California. So we've rolled probably. My guess would be they didn't roll through Idaho unless they were going to Northern California. So they would have run through Utah, possibly through Arizona, depending on the train tracks. Nevada for sure between Wyoming and California. Man, I don't think that they could have gotten around Nevada. So we got Vegas out there. So
right,
it looks
so
to
here's the
me.
map.
Sure.
Here's the map. Wyoming, California.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have Salt Lake City,
Yep.
Vegas. Wait, what's in Nevada?
Mormons. Oh, no,
Hoover
that's Utah. yeah.
Oh,
Hoover
The
Dam.
Hoover Dam.
Sure. I mean, let's.
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist at
Of course
all.
not.
I am
Of
just
course.
trying to, before anyone says, oh, I think the Hoover Dam's going to blow up. No, I didn't say that. I am just trying to figure out Wyoming to California. What's that route?
Mhm.
Because 10-1, they probably went Wyoming. They probably went south through Colorado, and then until they got to New Mexico, and then arc
Okay.
through Arizona, straight across that way. That
Okay,
is
I can see that.
most likely.
Mhm.
I don't know if I can get. Can I get railroad?
Ooh, that'd be cool. Can we search railroads on Google Maps? Let's find out. This is fun, man. This is
Right?
like I feel like we're doing our own little private investigation here. Railroad ties. Let's see. No, doesn't look like you can do. Doesn't look like you can do railroads. That's interesting, though. I wonder. Let me take. Oh, terrain. Could be public transit. Maybe it'll be public transit. How about that? Let's see if we
Could
can take
be.
a look at that.
Ooh,
Looks like we've got. I mean, yeah, it's going to be either. Hang on, I got my cat in front of me. You need to go down, buddy. Go on. I think you could be right. It could be going straight down through Colorado, which would make sense, and then kind of to the east, or to the west. Sorry, to Los Angeles. Was that the draw? What was the end? What was the end destination for this train?
So, it was going towards. It came from Cheyenne,
Cheyenne. Mhm.
Wyoming.
Okay.
It just says to California at the moment.
So Cheyenne is in the southeastern corner of Wyoming. So I'm thinking you're right. Now it could have gone completely west through Salt Lake City, like you said, down through Nevada. There's some mountains. You know, I don't know if the train tracks are running through the mountains. So it's one of two. They either went straight west, or they went south through Denver, and then west from there. But yeah, that's. So what is your theory? Do you think, obviously it wasn't leaked. That's a ridiculous notion. Nobody believes that. So it could be a couple of things, right? It could be that it was hijacked during the train's travel, you know, a la Breaking Bad, Walter White trying to get the stuff to make meth, right? So they figured out a way to hijack it. They got on board, dumped it all out, collected it, and they're going to use it for nefarious things. Or it was never loaded in the first place, and they're using this as a way to say, oh, it went missing, when in reality it never actually was loaded onto the train. What are some of your thoughts?
So, with a lot of things that are happening right now, it's just kind of weird. So I am looking at the bigger picture, and if I'm wrong, God, I hope I'm wrong. But let's jump in this rabbit hole. If we're gonna
Let's
jump
do
in
it.
the rabbit hole, jump in the rabbit hole. So in retrospect, I think it was swapped.
Okay.
I think it left Wyoming. I just don't think it made it to California. I think between Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, in that little curvature,
Yeah.
it was swapped for different containers.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been hard. I don't think it would have been hard at all to disconnect and then reconnect different trains without being noticed. The question is how planned was it? Like, were the
Right.
train people were actually involved?
Oh,
Was
good question.
this-
Yeah.
were they not told? Was it done behind their back? I mean, that's the ultimate thing, because you gotta look, and this is where the big conspiracy comes out. The big 3-letter agencies are all under scrutiny right now. ATF is under scrutiny.
Mhm.
The Homeland Security is under scrutiny. CIA is 100% under scrutiny. FBI is under scrutiny.
Right.
IRS is about to come under scrutiny too, because they're doing their shady shit now. And you have to all remember, they never took an oath to the Constitution. They took an oath to the president, and our president is a moron.
Yeah, I mean, the Constitution at this point doesn't seem to matter to most people.
See, and this is why constitutionalist more than not a right, because I think I was talking to another friend of mine about, like, when do you think the Democrats really changed? And I said it was when the moment JFK died.
Hmm.
Because JFK won as a Democrat, and I believe if he were alive today, he would have changed to a Republican just based on values. But I think he was what the Democrats should have been. But that's neither here nor there. But with everything going on in the political spectrum that's going on, 2024 election is being eyed more and more very close. And I think they're going to be looking to a distraction. And 60,000 tons of ammonium nitrate gone missing, and nobody's speaking about it.
Right.
Makes for a very confusing story.
It does.
Where did it go? 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate gone missing will level. I think it's enough to turn California into an island.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I think that's fine.
I always say, Robin Williams always said it best, that the California is one good earthquake becoming an island.
Yeah, that's right. And the
but-
FBI killed him. No, I don't know if that's true.
Oh no, he died of. He had a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
I saw Robin Williams in 2002 on his last show, and you knew something was wrong with him, but he also did one of the movie 1 hour photo. If you've ever watched,
Oh
it,
yeah, yeah, that was a dark movie.
You could tell there was something wrong with Robin Williams at that time, but no one wanted to say, "Hey, what's wrong?"
Yeah.
But if you've noticed, since like I said, no one's talking about the 60,000 tons of ammonium nitrate,
Right.
but they are talking about this dude. Let me bring that back up. Oh my.
And perhaps, here's another possibility, another conspiracy to throw out there. Perhaps it is, this is just an attempt to cultivate fear in people to keep them from traveling, to keep them, I think really, if you haven't learned anything in the last 3 years, this world operates on fear, and the government operates on fear. And so they did it by overinflating COVID, overinflating the potential for millions upon millions of deaths, and the way that they even made it sound is their bodies in the street. I mean, it was just this this huge thing. I think that they realized that that fear tactic didn't work, so they continue. They could be continuing to promote fear. And speaking of fear, I think the next story that you're going to be bringing up is a great one to encapsulate that fear. So let's talk
doesn't
about
make
this.
sense. So
Yeah,
this
let's
is a
talk about
gentleman
this.
that drove their U-Haul,
Yeah, a rented truck. They went out of their way to rent a truck,
and it was
Right.
empty, by the way.
and it was
Empty.
empty. Well, allegedly empty. Apparently, all it had was a Nazi flag in it. Right?
What I mean
Is
empty,
that
like there was nothing else but a flag.
Right.
Like there was a flag.
yeah?
So he's. I don't know if you've ever been to DC before. That's Lamont Street.
Okay.
They have these concrete barriers. They ain't moving. They don't move. This is not going through at all.
No.
He's rammed it, and then he just said he stopped. He's being charged with 5 felonies, 3 against the president and 2 against the vice president.
And he's a
Because-
kid, right? He said 19 years old,
Yeah, he's 19.
and he's not a white guy.
No,
We
But
know
he's a white
that, isn't he?
supremacist.
Oh yeah. He's one of those offshoots of white supremacy called not white.
Yeah, no. But it was weird that this was talked out all over the place.
Of course, like the spy balloons.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know that comes from that was a conversation back in World War II about the spy balloons, right?
No, huh?
So Japan wanted to figure out how to infiltrate the United States.
Gotcha.
Their only way, because of how our network was to send a balloon through Alaska down through Canada. It was the only way. And it was elaborately done, but never actually done.
Gotcha.
Now China did the same. China did the same path.
Allegedly,
We just
China.
let it go. Oh no! Oh fuck them. We know it's them. I'm not allegedly nothing. YouTube can. I don't know. But
You know, I just say that. Everybody likes to use allegedly now.
allegedly,
Allegedly.
the senators got sat phones.
Yeah, that's weird, huh? I saw that in the news. About 50 of 100, right? 50 of 100 senators.
They were all offered sat phones, but only 50 took them.
Okay, so everybody was offered, but only 50 took them. Gotcha. Tracking.
Correct. So, but that doesn't make sense. And then there's this big thought of they're going to attack the electrical grid because right now they're doing nuclear test training in Texas at the abandoned nuclear plant that needs to get turned back on. I swear to God.
We need to go nuclear full power, dude. We'd be saving a ton of money. We'd have a boom in economy.
WHO wants us to go full green, and they put nuclear power as a green source. We have all these nuclear plants that are off. Turn it
Right.
back on. We'd be fine. Hell, Texas would power up most of the southern United States besides themselves. There's 3 in California. We have Mile Island here in Pennsylvania. It would work.
Of course it would. Of course it would work. That's why they don't want to do it.
But that's the thing. There's a rumor, and I'm really hoping it stays a rumor that they're going after the actual physical internet. That they're trying to possibly shut off all communications. If that happens, you won't see us for a while until they can figure it out. And then I don't know how I'm going to do my job because I work from home.
Yeah, right. Well, we might have to go back to the 50s. Then Dylan Mulvaney will be happy, right?
Right.
Right.
But we got to get ready to get off for you here in a second, anyways. overall, pay attention. There's you gotta look for the things that they're not saying.
That's right.
They're saying the little things out loud, but no one's catching them, and that's the scary part that's coming out. Because coming up, I know next week, I want to talk about the Fed now, because that is coming to light here shortly, and the euro went completely digital already, and they're doing that socialized experiment. And
Yep.
that is between that and BRICS, the US dollar's tanked. And plus we're defaulting. And if you don't believe we're defaulting, it takes Congress 9 days. And they have to have it settled by June 1st. We are way within the 9 days. Today is May 24th. And we got 5. We'll see what happens. But I have a feeling we're going to default on our debt. And I blame Joe Biden because he dug his heels in and did not budge. And that's the problem. He chose not to negotiate. And it's just going to hurt us as U.S. citizens. It's
Of
hurting
course.
us because we got to pay that dollar. But do you have anything else you want to go over? Say one more thing before we go.
Yeah, I'll just say a couple things, man. You know, I think there's to keep things positive. You know, I think that DeSantis's big announcement via Twitter on his running for president is a good thing. He the news comes out saying that he raised $8 million within his first 24 hours. So, look, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I rode that train. I got off the train, and I've been happily off the train. Again, I'm not saying, and I'm not advocating for DeSantis, but it is good to see a competitor that I think has a potential to equal or rival Donald Trump.
I'm interested to see how Tim Cook goes, really, from South Carolina.
Is that Tim Scott?
Tim Scott. Sorry.
Yeah. Tim Scott's an interesting character too, man. I kind of like some of the stuff that he's been saying.
What set me off really about DeSantis, not that I don't think he wouldn't do a good job. You look at the people who's backing him, that bothers me. And one of them is George Soros. And I will not support anybody that's being supported by George Soros. If you don't know who George Soros is, he's a Nazi. He should have been tried for war crimes. He's living off Nazi money. And if you can't...
And he dies like every year. Everybody says he dies every year.
I wish he would stay dead. But I'm looking to... I want to see the debate for the Republican side. I really do. I know Trump isn't going to debate. He'll probably debate like 3 times like he did the last time. That's fine. If that's how he feels, then fine. I'm going to look. So I'm not going to sit there and say I'm voting for Trump right away.
Of course.
I am very disappointed that I will not see Robert Kennedy on the Democrat side to debate.
Yeah.
But other than that, I guess we'll talk that. We'll see you next week. Anything else you want to go out with?
No, brother. I just want to say thank you again for having me on, and for Jason, who's off and enjoying some time. Thank you for letting me fill your spot, brother. I appreciate that.
All right, and thank you all. This is episode 74. I will send us out. This is Fire Talk Radio Podcast, and you can check us out on firetalkradio.com. You can email us at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. You can send us a voicemail at 814-380-9820. You can always check us out live on YouTube and Rumble. Hit the like and subscribe button to find out when we go live, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting and streaming platform.